Hello, everyone. Happy November. Hope everyone's doing well. We have 2 weeks until Thanksgiving. I'm excited for the food. I'm kind of always excited for the food. Um, of course, I appreciate my family. I love them. I love spending time with them, and hopefully, it'll be a nice quality time. I don't want to talk about no politics, but you know, what are you looking for Thanksgiving? If you want to share. Of course, obligatory self promotion. What If I Ruled the World? Poems inspired by music. My first book ever. That's the front cover. This is the back. You picture your boy here. Um, yeah, it's always linked in the bio, linked in the link tree, linked in the description, linked in my bio, in my link tree, but always linked in the description individually. If you would like to support, I have changed some of my story that I'm supposed to be working on. And I am trying to push myself to outline all of the short stories in the full story because the short story is going to be three separate short stories, but at the end, they're all going to come together because three of the characters are connected. So one character from each of the short stories, and then the fourth story, everybody will be together. Um, so yeah, so I gotta push myself, motivate myself. That's what I gotta do. So today we're here to talk about the book Saving Noah. Um, let's get right into it. Is a thriller, psychological thriller, crime fiction, psychological fiction, and domestic fiction. It is authored by Lucinda Berry. I'm gonna give a little bit of a bio on her. Uh, she's Dr. Lucinda Berry, technically, is a former psychologist, excuse me, and leading researcher in childhood trauma. Now she writes full time using her clinical experience to blur the line between fiction and nonfiction. She enjoys taking her readers on a journey through the dark recess of the human psyche. Her work has been optioned for film and translated into multiple languages. I did not look up which books were like considered for films or were short films or anything of that nature, so I can't add anything to that. If Barry isn't chasing after her son, you can find her running through Los Angeles, prepping for her next marathon. Running as a hobby does not sound fun to me, but I get it. It's the adrenaline, it's the exercise. I kind of get it, but running for fun, running for my life, I'll do that. For fun, I don't know. I have been working out more though, because I do need to. I went to the gym today, so I get it. So yeah, this book was released September 6th, 2017, just a few years ago. It feels like a lifetime ago, but it's really not. It will almost be in 2 years ago, be 10 years ago. That's kind of crazy. So I'm gonna give the synopsis. It's a little, oh, it looks longer when I copied and pasted it, but it's not really that long. But here we go. Meet Noah, an A honor roll student, award winning swimmer, and small town star destined for greatness. There weren't any signs that something was wrong till the day he confesses to molesting two little girls during swim meet practice, which I think he was like an assistant coach, but of course, for like, or a junior coach or something. So, but of course, for the synopsis, it doesn't really make a difference. Anyway, he's sentenced to 18 months in a juvenile sexual rehabilitation center. His mother, Adrienne, refused to turn her back on him despite his horrific crimes, but her husband doesn't allow Noah back into their home. In a series of shocking, shattering revelations, Adrienne is faced to make the harsh decision of her life. Just how far will she go to protect her son? Saving Noah challenges everything you think you know about sexual offenders. You will keep it will keep you up at night long after you've read the last page, questioning beliefs you once thought were true. It did not change any of my beliefs, but I mean, I get it. They got to make it sound juicy for the synopsis. I kind of feel like they kind of spoiled like a good chunk of the base of the book in the synopsis, but I mean, hey, I guess she approved it. I don't know. But right now, I'm gonna go through the characters, and I'm gonna give a spoiler warning. There are some specific things that I will be spoiling that are they're not. I'm not gonna spoil the whole ending or anything like that, but they are kind of important. Not kind of. They are important to the story, and like one of them, I'm not gonna go into too much details about, but I will spoil something that happens during it. It's not gonna make any sense till I talk about it. But I'm gonna give a spoiler alert. Of course, I'm gonna try my hardest not to spoil anything, any of the twist or anything like big major. So the characters are Adrienne is the mom. Until they said her name in this book, I would have called her Adrienne instead of Adrienne. I think it's supposed to be Adrienne. That's a mom. Lucas is the dad. Katie is the little sister. I think she's 6, 7, 8, something like that. Noah is the brother slash. I put semi main character. Really, the mom is the main character, and there's something I'm going to talk about. Let me see if I talk about it later before I mention it now. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll talk about it later. So I'm going to hold off on that thing I was about to say. So I'm going to talk about the pros and the cons and my overall opinion. I originally had a pro, but I don't have any pros now because I've changed my mind on it. Because at the time I was like in chapter 13, and I have mentioned like one of the pros being a specific thing, and then it fell apart. So this is the first time I think it's the first time I ever reviewed something and I was like, there are no pros. So yeah, there are no pros. But I'm gonna acknowledge something. So I'm gonna make an acknowledgement. I will acknowledge that I don't think physical assaults or sexual assaults that Noah faced were warranted just because of the hurt he caused two young girls. It's oh, it's gonna be. I already said spoiler alert. So anyway, especially because the second one, because there's one that's like pretty soon after like he confesses, and then there's another one. But he's moved away and he doesn't even like interact with it. So that one was definitely, especially not warranted. Um, but especially, and then there's a part that he was sexually assaulted during it, so that's crazy. I do understand him not being trusted and or befriended by other people. Oh, I kind of already said this, but he was keeping to himself, and he wasn't even talking about what he did. So he wasn't like bragging or anything. He was really just minding his business and was not trying to like really interact with anyone in like their new town that they had to move to because, of course, they got shunned from their town. Um, which I don't want to spoil too much on that end because I kind of felt like it was kind of pivotal to the story. There was like a lot that happened. But let's get to the cons, which I have so many of. Um, the mom side, Adrienne, she is delusional and in denial. I talked about this in my short video a little bit. I thought she had finally had stopped in chapter 13, but after you find out more, about the second time Noah got beat up and unfortunately sexually assaulted during the beat up, she like reverted back, basically shaking my head. She frustrated and infuriated me. Very very stereotypical boy mom who thinks what her son did wasn't as bad as everyone made it out to be, which is crazy. She does not understand how victims feel and how it impacts them throughout their lives. She could have had Noah change his name, his appearance. He could have kept living his life without ever bringing up what he did. But the victims of sexual assault and molestation can never get rid of the trauma of what happened to them. And that's important to know. Throughout this book, um, which I can imagine people not even finishing this book. I saw someone comment on a short video that I did on TikTok saying that she didn't finish it. Uh, all of the problems that they were having was because of Noah. It wasn't like he was not a victim, even though, of course, at the end, I guess towards the end, he was a victim of sexual assault, and that was something that totally did not need to be happen. But overall, he's not the victim. Not in the whole grand scheme of things. His victims are the two little girls that he molested. And she doesn't understand. Um, I'm going to talk about it more later, actually, because she said something crazy. And uh, she said something really crazy. But I'm going to talk about it later because I have a extra point on that. But yeah, she was not. Mm, I really hated her as a narrator. I didn't understand if we were supposed to sympathize with Noah. Why was she the narrator? Because clearly she was in delusional and in denial. And how am I supposed to sympathize with Noah when he's not even talking? Like we don't even know what's in his mind throughout the whole. Well, we do know. I mean, he says what's on his mind, but you don't hear it like from him. You hear him talking to his mom about it. So it's crazy. Noah is my second con. He was remorseful and wanted to change it first. I will say until later in the book when he's physically assaulted again and sexually assaulted, then said he's also a victim, which in that instance he is. But if that never happened to him, he would not be a victim. Uh, and in the grand scheme of things, everything is bad because of what he did. These are the consequences of his actions. Besides the assaults, two physical assaults, and the sexual assault, I don't think those were necessary. Uh, okay. Besides the attacks against him, all the shunning and no one wanting to be around him and his family is his fault. Those are the consequences of his actions. I wish that he had gone to jail like he wanted, because that was truly what he deserved. And I felt like he got off easy during the program, the sexual rehabilitation rehab program. I don't think he would have fared better in jail because, they do beat up child molesters and stuff there. So he might have had to be in like a single cell solitary type of situation. But I feel like that's really what he deserved, and that's what he wanted. Um, but of course, the mom was like, "I don't want you to go to prison," or yeah, it would be prison. She didn't want him to go to prison because jail is like when you're first charged, and then you go to prison for your long sentence. But that's what he really deserved, and she did not want that, and that kind of annoyed me. Like he was actually like really, wanting to pay for what he did and um really take responsibility and be put away. And I find it really interesting that sorry, I'm just checking. Um he really wanted to go to prison and he really wanted to, be put away. So that kind of made me think like he really probably is worried that he would do this again. And he was. I've already said spoiler alert. But yeah, he was worried about that. Let's get to the dad slash Lucas. He was going to be in the pros, but then something happened. There was a twist. So I thought the dad was more of the rational of the two, but then there's a twist. I'm not going to spoil what it is that just undermines his decisions. I'm sure maybe you could guess, considering the context of the book. Um, I felt like it wasn't really needed, honestly, because it was like it just did this. Can't stop. It just discredits the dad. It feels like because why would you make that the twist to be? Because I feel like it's kind of a big reveal, and I'm like, I'll leave some. I'll leave y'all with some stuff if you want to read the book. And it also makes me suspicious of the dad because of what happens with Katie's behavior and some things she says, which I'm going to talk about when we get to Katie. She's also a con. Also, there are parts of him as a there are parts that are him of a Ooh, I cannot talk today. He's always rain messing with my brain. That rhymed. Okay, here we go. Also, there are parts that are him as a teenager, but I thought it was Noah until the last chapter from the dad's point of view. So that was confusing. So there are chapters that are called him. Then I thought it was Noah because their voices kind of sound similar to me. Until that last, they have one called him now, and then it's revealed it's the dad. And so if you read the book, you'll probably get the twist already. Um, I didn't get the twist because I was like, thought it was Noah. So I was listening to the audiobook because they sound similar to me. Um, and I felt like that part could have been written better that it was supposed to be the dad, but I feel like it wasn't. It was ambiguous on purpose though, because then when you find out twist about the dad, you're like, oh, so that was what was going on with him. So yeah, that was kind of like a whoa. So Katie's change in behavior, not necessarily Katie, she's a little kid. I'm not gonna say, but she has some change in her behavior, and they just don't address it, and it's alarming. It's concerning. So let's talk about it. So because the mom is focused on Noah, the daughter's behavior and personality changes. So the mom is so focused on Noah. I think I meant to say that she doesn't notice the daughter's behavior and personality changes. She does notice, but she's not as suspicious as I think she should have been. So she starts wetting the bed, which those are signs of possible sexual abuse. Um, which I'm going to talk about. I think I'm going to talk about a little more later. So she has a personality change. Her behavior starts changing. She was really bubbly and upbeat before, but then she's kind of like reserved and quiet later on, and then she starts wetting the bed. So those are some signs of sexual abuse in children. If their personality changes, if their behavior changes, those are some signs. They're not always signs of sexual abuse. It could be signs of other abuse, but those are big signs for sexual abuse. So the twist with the dad, that's very suspicious. It's suspicious because it only happens when her and the dad are alone. So now I probably ruined the twist. But nobody probes it. Like the mom doesn't really probe it. She says she's gonna get the daughter therapy, but she's so obsessed with Noah that she doesn't even talk to her daughter about what's going on. And that pissed me off because Katie could actually be a victim of sexual abuse and the mom is not giving her equal attention. So with the twist with the dad, it was very concerning because it's like, what if, uh, and then it's just her and the dad in the house because Noah is not allowed to come back to the house. It's just, yeah, she's just so obsessed with Noah that she just does not. The mom does not like really take time to understand like what is going on with Katie. So that's it. All the cons and no pros. So here's my overall opinion. So I was originally gonna give this book a 5 out of 10 for at least being realistic as I can imagine a delusional and in denial, boy mom acting just like this. However, the mom said that Noah only molested the girls and not sexually assaulted them, so it wasn't as traumatic. That was so crazy to me. So I took the score all the way down. So I took off the 5 points because what if somebody who has never been sexually assaulted or molested hears someone's traumatic experience of molestation and tells them it's no big deal? Could you imagine someone spilling out their guts? This happened to me as a child, blah, blah, blah. And then the person who's never experienced any of this and they've read this book say, oh, well, that's not as traumatic. Oh my God. So what did I put in here? I said I would strangle the person. Yeah, I would strangle someone if they said it to me. I would be in jail. Uh, Sexual abuse of any kind is traumatic, point blank, period, end of discussion. Period. That's it. Doesn't matter if you just get touched. Doesn't matter if it's brutally, graphic. It's not, of course, there are definitely severe cases of abuse, but it doesn't diminish anyone else's experiences. It's not oppression Olympics, okay? Being touched is just as bad as being brutally assaulted. It's not like one, of course, one person might maybe have more PTSD or more problems and vice versa. So it's not, you should not diminish anyone else's like traumatic experiences. For this author to be a current or former, she's a former. I forgot because I didn't paste in the biography. Yeah, she's a former. child psychologist, this is a really terrible message to send. Um, I, that's because to me that's just like just a slap in the face, to have this line and to be sincere about it. I get it's fiction, but a lot of people take fiction and like really influences their life. Okay, so for that reason, I gave this one a 0 out of 10. This is the lowest score I've given a book that I wasn't forced to read in school. So, like, I actually hated this book. I would definitely never recommend this book, especially not to any childhood sexual assault or molestation survivors, or any, pretty much in general, any sexual assault or sexual abuse survivor of any age. It did not enlighten me to anything because none of the book was in Noah's perspective. So that how am I supposed to feel sympathetic? And none of it is in his perspective. None of his thoughts are there. You know what I mean? It's just the mom being delusional and in denial and being a terrible fucking person. How is that supposed to make me sympathetic? And then the dad with the twist, what the fuck was that? I hated it. I kind of just hate read the book for the because at a certain point I was like, what in the world is going on? I was like, I have to see how this ends. And it did not end on any kind of like satisfying solution to me. It wasn't like it was kind of a sad ending. But did I feel bad about how it ended? No. I'm not saying that people should do what Noah did at the end of the book, but I there was no sympathy or empathy from me. I would not recommend this book if you want to like learn more about like why someone targeted you. I talked about this in my short video. That's not what this book was. It was for boy moms to feel bad and wallow together because their sons are creeps and pedophiles and perpetrators and hurt people and feel like they have someone who knows what they're going even though their son is the one that ruined their lives or upended everything because of their mistake, because of the consequences of their actions. That's what this book is for. So I have another rant. Uh, so something that bothered me, I call this rant missing points, but maybe I should call it something else. I don't know. But here it goes. One thing that bothered me about the book that never addressed is whether the parents explained not only to like not let someone touch you sexually, but not to do that to other people. So it never felt like I feel like talking about inappropriate touching should be something all parents talk to their kids about. And the mom acted like her and the dad were like perfect parents. So that shocked me that it was like never brought up. And then one time, Katie, who's like 6'7" at most, um, she's at the apartment of Noah and the mom because they had to move out. One night, she wants to spend the night. She says she doesn't care if Noah touches her, and she also said she didn't care that he touched the other girls. And her stupid ass mom doesn't correct her and say, I understand you want to be around your brother, but that's not something you want. Because, the mom doesn't even think it's that bad. So she doesn't even correct the daughter and like, why the hell would you let her say that? I don't care if he touches me. Your brother and sister. And besides that, she's a little child. He's almost an adult. He was 17 when it happened. He's almost 18. You should not want, and at any age, you should not want anybody to sexually assault you, even if you're both adults. So the fact that she didn't correct the daughter it just really infuriated me. And because the mom's so stuck on her son being a victim, she doesn't even care about what her daughter has going on. And also, she doesn't let the daughter. Also, she doesn't sleep the whole time because she's scared. She's worried that something might happen. But then when she comes home, she likes like the dad's overreacting in the morning because he's mad. He's like, why would you do that? We didn't even talk about this. And I'm kind of spoiling the book a little, but he talks about getting a lawyer and all this stuff. And she's like, oh, why are you tripping? You didn't even sleep the whole night because you were worried. And you're gaslighting this man. I cannot believe I got through that whole book. Jeez Louise. So I just want to say, FYI, changing your behavior or your personality in bedwetting are potential signs that a child could be sexually abused. Also, weight gain could also be a sign. I had all of these symptoms, all of these issues, except bedwetting when I was sexually abused as a child. I felt this book is just going to do more damage than good because there's no real solution for anyone um, involved in this story. Noah initially takes responsibility, then claims victimhood. Two, the dad is a hypocrite and potentially dangerous himself with that twist. Katie is ignored, and the mom is a stereotypical boy mom who is delusional and in denial. With that being said, I'm going to leave a link to more signs and symptoms of different types of abuse to learn more. So I found uh, a checklist on mayoclinic.com, and I'm going to leave a link to it for different types of childhood sexual abuse, symptoms, physical, emotional. They have different types of abuse. So if you are concerned about family member, friend, maybe your own child, I will leave that link below because I feel like that's the best thing that came out of this book is that hopefully, if people do reviews, they'll say, okay, well, these are the signs that you should look for that something might be happening with your child. And another thing, so that the son was acting weird, okay, once it happened, once he molested the girls, and like, so he, um, and then before he confessed, and it could have been, I mean, they talked about him being withdrawn and stuff like that, but it would have been helpful to have more warning signs. Like, what are warning signs that your child could be a pedophile? That would have been helpful. Like, besides him being withdrawn and dropping out of coaching, are there other signs? Like, what do you mean withdrawn? He doesn't want to come. Like, he was withdrawn. He did change. But what do you do? I mean, the mom did press him and he did confess. But are there other like ways you can tell? Like, eh, I don't know. It's just I don't think it's gonna be like helpful this book at all. But that's just my opinion. Have you read Saving Noah? Do you want to read Saving Noah? Do you not want to read it after this review? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, this is the only book that I've read this year that I didn't even like that I did not enjoy at all. Like, even if I didn't give something like a high score, like if I give it a 7 out of 10, that's still enjoyable. You know what I mean? But this one was just not. There was nothing enjoyable about this book. And I guess the author, like, she just said, you're gonna. I didn't change my perspective, but I guess it is like an uncomfortable topic to talk about. It's not really like a fun topic, so it is what it is. So, y'all, I'm trying to decide when is too early to talk about Christmas. So we'll see. I'm gonna maybe talk about some Thanksgiving movies or something before the Christmas videos. I'm trying to wait until December. So, all right, I will see you all next week.